Police reports and healthcare. Hospitals are a haven for the sick and injured. Doctors are expected to provide care, treatments, and comfort to patients at all times. Furthermore, the Hippocratic oath taken by physicians requires them to do no harm, no matter the circumstances. Bearing this in mind, doctors are therefore obligated to place human life first above all other things. Unfortunately, in the Nigerian healthcare system, this is not always the case. In far too many instances, health institutions have placed other concerns above the overriding need to save lives when it is within their power to do so. One of such instances is when a caregiver insists on a police report before an accident victim or a victim of gunshot wounds is given urgent life-saving treatment they require. A police report or an incident report is a physical record of an incident considered to be illegal or potentially illegal, usually taken by a representative of a police department and filed according to the department's procedure. The police report is the starting point of a law enforcement investigation. However, filing a police report requires lots of procedures, and this can take a long time to complete. For an emergency victim, time is precious. Every delay could cost the victim their lives. What you need to know. The demand for police reports by health institutions before treating emergency cases is to protect medical practitioners and hospitals from police harassment and from being accused of aiding and abetting a presumed criminal. Sadly, countless innocent lives have been lost as a result of this. In December 2014, former President Goodluck Jonathan signed the National Health Bill into law. The law addressed the controversial issue of police reports, noting that victims of auto crashes and violent crimes should be guaranteed prompt medical attention. The law stipulates that a healthcare provider, health worker, or health establishments shall not refuse a person emergency medical treatment for any reason whatsoever. It further states that any person who contravenes this law is guilty of an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine of 100,000 naira or to imprisonment for a period not exceeding 6 months or to both. Consequently, every health institution and medical practitioner must be aware that the unavailability of a police report should not affect medical response for a victim or impede on the quality of care and treatment he or she receives. Doctors must show no restraints in treating emergencies, even with gunshot wounds. As a patient, you should be aware that a police report is not necessary for treatment in emergency situations. If a health institution refuses to offer care and treatment on the grounds that a police report must be provided first, you have the right to seek redress against such institutions.